Now to Iran, cut off from the rest of the world as protests persist. It's been 12 days of unrest across the Islamic Republic in protest of the Iranian regime and the sinking economy. The streets filled with demonstrators demanding change. The Supreme Leader vowing to crack down on protesters, directly challenging President Trump's pledge to support those peacefully demonstrating. It comes as millions of people across Iran are currently living under a nationwide information blackout. Iran cutting off access to the internet, cell phone, and landlines, isolating Iran completely from the rest of the world. My next guest has very close ties to the region and has been talking with anti-regime advocates inside Iran about what this could mean for the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Contributing writer for The Atlantic, Arash Azizi, joining me once again. Arash, it's always great to have you on this subject matter because you are talking to people directly inside the country when we can't get in touch with people. Let's just put into perspective these protests, what we're seeing on the streets, and why the fall of Maduro is impacting all of this. Why it is so important to Iran.
The fall of Maduro was important because regime lost its most important global ally. Khamenei had said as recent as 2022 that no two countries were closer to each other than his regime and Venezuela's, and really emboldened the opposition. But really, it was also, the context of the protests were already going on since December 28. And Iranians have been really fighting against this regime wave after wave here, from 2017, 2019, 2020, 2022, 2023. And they're always, trying to find a way to confront this regime. So when they see actions like the fall of Maduro, they were emboldened to come out. And last night, Thursday, was a tremendous day. Unfortunately, quite likely, a lot of violence has also been committed against people. It's harder to find out because of the huge internet shutdown. But it's clear that these were some of the largest crowds, perhaps the largest since 2009.
So do you think because Iran has now lost one of its biggest allies, a leader that was supporting them in all the ways that we don't want them to support each other, that this could actually impact these protests? I mean, the protests are clearly different from the ones in the past, but now it seems like they're not only emboldened, but also empowered because Iran doesn't have such a strong financial and political ally in Maduro right now.
Yes, the fall of Maduro is important. Even more important, I would say, is everything that has happened in the last couple of years. The fall of the Assad regime in Syria. In general, the Iran's so-called axis of resistance, this group of militias in the region, have all been weakened. The axis of resistance has been shattered. I wrote this RIP piece a year ago. So in many cases, it's dead. And the regime finds itself really regionally isolated. But still, it has the loyalty of the security forces so far, and the opposition hasn't really been able to, find that organization and that leadership that would drive it to victory. It's still might be a long road ahead, although these things can also happen very quickly. But it's quite clear the rejection of the Iranian regime, its core policies, its core structures, and the misrule of Khamenei, who has ruled Iran since 1989, since I was 1 year old. This one man has ruled Iran. That's ever more clear, and the Iranian revolutionaries have wind in their sail.
Well, we are going to keep our eyes on the wind in that sail and what's happening on the streets. Arash, stay close with us, please.